Hello everyone, myself PALLAV BISHI, me along with my teammates AMIT Kumar Jatav and PRASHANT Ashodiya have built a project for our sessional 2 Big Data Analytics. The title of the project is Basic Application of InfluxDB, the Influx database. So the first question which arises is what is basically InfluxDB? So InfluxDB is a open source time series database designed to handle high volume of time-stamped data. So it is specifically designed for time series data, and it is developed by Influx Data and is commonly used for storing, querying, and visualizing time series data. For example, of time series data is like um, temperature of a particular place with reference to time. So time series data refers to data that is recorded over time is typically indexed or ordered based on timestamps. So our main primary problem statement is demonstrate basic application of influx DB. So here are the steps that we have followed. The first step is to set up the environment. So parallelly, I'm going to show the code. So we have basically used the Google Colab environment, and initially we have set up all the dependencies. Like we have installed the InfluxDB client, then the Flight SQL API, and the pandas for handling the data. So we can move to the next thing. The next step is we have I have already covered. We have installed the dependencies like InfluxDB client, which is important to interact with the InfluxDB system, which is running on our server through API. Okay, so now we have imported all the important methods and libraries, and here is like the token, organization, and URL. These can be fetched from the website whenever we create our account, and these are important to interact with our system through API. And here is the write client. So write client is the method help which will help write client is the object which will help us to uh, write uh, some data in our remote environment through the API. So the third step is we have created a bucket. So in InfluxDB, all the data are stored in a bucket. So you have to first create a bucket. So I've created a bucket named as test bucket, and again I have defined the write API, and this is the standard data which I am going to write on that bucket, and these are the key. And if the write operation is successfully executed, the print statement will get executed, that is complete, and return to the InfluxDB UI. So as the output is the same, so we can conclude that the write operation has been executed properly, and in our bucket all this data has been properly written. Now the fourth step is write the sample data into the bucket. So we have created the bucket. Now we have written the sample data in our bucket using the API. Now I want to pass some query to the system using the API. So here is a basic query. Here I have authenticated the Flight SQL client, which is used for passing the SQL queries to my Influx database. Again, all the authentication token has been passed to authenticate that object. Now I have passed the query through query client.execute and store the output of the query in the info, and converted that uh, output into a data frame so that it is easier to see the data. I have printed the data frame, and here is the output of my query. So this is a very basic application of Influx database. Influx database is highly scalable and um, a huge amount of time series data can be handled and can be stored and easily manipulated and can be queried using Influx database. So hope you find value in this uh, presentation. Thank you for your time.